Oh my god, this dude's such a loser. Holy fuck. Oh my god, bro. Jared, no.
Being with her gave him the opportunity to do some modeling.
Oh my god, bro, this is him! Some modeling. Oh yeah, looking good, Jared.
The costumes channel involving Jared had been quietly removed.
Deadass? No way! Wait, bro, if even Aaron Hansen is like, oh, this guy's kind of creepy.
Yes, I cheated, and I'm okay with that.
I'm watching ProJared. If you've been on the internet for long enough, there's a strong chance you've at least heard the name ProJared.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Most people know the basic gist of the story. A video game reviewer who got accused of cheating on his wife and behaving inappropriately with fans, resulting in his name being dragged through the mud before he got his chance to set the record straight.
It's over, ProJared.
Few are aware of all the peculiar details, and even fewer have bothered to keep up with the man after the initial controversy died down. Today I wanted to take a look back at the tale of ProJared, dissecting fact from fiction, and trying to figure out if anybody learned a lesson from what happened. But before we go any further in today's video,
Fuck you, gamer from Mars.
Get weird with this question.
What is he advertising? Chat with AI friends? What is this bullshit you're shoving down my throat, gamer from Mars?
And they really encourage you to bring your imagination.
Fuck off! They really encourage you. Look, he doesn't believe that bullshit. Look at him. Okay, whatever.
From a young age, he had a love for video games, with a particular fascination being Japanese turn-based RPGs, such as Pokemon and Final Fantasy. As he got older, this interest combined with his professional life, as he got one of his first jobs at GameStop. There are a million horror stories online from people who had soul-crushing experiences working at the video game retail juggernauts, and Jared was no exception. Still, even if he didn't necessarily enjoy his time there, it provided the creative inspiration for his first major online project, a scripted comedy series called Name Tags in 2008. As you can guess, the show featured Jared and his friends as employees of a video
this
game
looks
store.
like shit.
The style was pretty typical of the nerd comedy that was prominent in the 2000s, with jokes centering around characters who filtered everything in their lives through their gamer identity.
Good morning. I didn't hear you get up.
Good morning, Jared. Oh my god, this dude's such a loser. Holy fuck. Oh my god, bro. Jared, no. No, Jared.
Name Tags was heavily influenced by the show Scrubs, with Jared's character narrating each episode and providing fantasy cutaway gags identical to the ABC sitcom. It's actually kind of funny to watch this series with that knowledge. While Scrubs provided a humorous yet heartfelt look at doctors and nurses working long, hard hours in a hospital, Name Tags treated the job of video game retail store employee with a similar level of importance.
It's a funny thing when you work in a place like this for a while. You meet so many people, and you start to think you know everyone.
No, Jared, no!
When in reality, you may not know somebody at all.
Name Tags was hosted on ScrewAttack.com, one of the most prominent gaming-related websites from that era of the internet. Even though the show itself didn't last very long, it got Jared's foot in the door and provided him with future opportunities at the company. In 2009, he was hired as the manager of ScrewAttack's retro gaming store, GameAttack. This was another short-lived gig, but the up-and-coming internet star was able to leverage it into becoming regular on-screen talent for the website's other shows. Per the tradition of ScrewAttack, all of their major contributors were expected to take on a pseudonym, which took their first name and added an adjective to the front of it. To that end, Jared became ProJared, reportedly based on his desire to come across as professional. By far, Jared's biggest claim to fame at ScrewAttack was as host of Hard News, a short-form video game news show designed to blitz through headlines as efficiently as possible, with episodes generally running for around 2 or 3 minutes. This is when the site's audience really got an opportunity to learn more about Jared, and a large number of them liked what they saw. Both his peers and fans have described him as having a natural charisma, which made the young man incredibly watchable and allowed him to easily rise to the top. At the same time he was rising through the ranks at ScrewAttack, our gamer friend was also creating a name for himself. On September 17th, 2010, he uploaded his first video game review to his own independent YouTube channel. Even from his debut video, he had a very strong voice. He was already skilled at editing, pacing, and clearly mixing his opinions and sense of humor, even if some of these jokes may come across a little different in hindsight.
But at least they got the female lead right. I mean, look at her. She's got that gothic thing going for her. Long black, slender legs, and an open blouse to expose her excellent.
Jared! Oh my god, bro.
There are also a lot of superficial elements
gooner
that stayed a part of Jared's brand for years to come, such as his shelf full of video games, his theme song, and his iconic blue shirt. Perhaps bolstered by the pre-existing viewers from his previous projects, the ProJared YouTube channel didn't take long to gain an audience of his own, and his debut upload now sits at over 1 million views. With his solo career on the rise, Jared soon joined another group called Normal Boots, a collective of video...
What are the other fucking ones? I mean, I know JonTron and Peanut Butter Gamer, but what the fuck are these other things? I think I've seen the Continuum, but didn't watch it or some shit. The fuck?
Game YouTubers created by JonTron and Peanut Butter Gamer, whose work also was hosted on Screw Attack in the early years. It was at this point that it became clear Jared was outgrowing the place where his career had begun. So on October 1st, 2012, he announced at the end of an episode of Hard News that he would be leaving to focus entirely on his solo projects. While this was framed at the time as a mutual split, in recent years, Screw Attack's founder, Stuttering Craig, has come forward to say that Jared was actually fired from the company.
Listen to this last statement here.
That Craig recognized that my goals and ambitions do not line up with the future of Screw Attack.
Let me translate that for you. Jared was incredibly selfish and nobody liked him in the office.
Oh, shit! We all fucking hated you, dude. We couldn't stand your ass. You're constantly creeping on the ladies. Fuck you, Jared.
He got booted.
A mutual agreement that it's time for me to move on.
Mutual in that he wasn't giving his best effort, and it was time for
him to go.
No matter what his reasons were for leaving, though, it was undeniable that it was the right move for Jared's career. Over the next few years, his audience continued to grow, bolstered by his connections to the other rising stars at Normal Boots. By April of 2013, less than a year after Screw Attack,
I watched like every episode of that Nuzlocke that he did. Of course I did.
The ProJared channel had gained over 100,000 subs, and its growth would continue rapidly from there. As time went on, he became so notable in the gaming space that he was being asked to make appearances on other platforms, such as the Nickelodeon sitcom Game Shakers.
I even play it in the shower.
I like to believe Dan Schneider specifically asked for Jared here. The YouTuber was also a semi-frequent guest on the channel Game Grumps, appearing in several videos alongside Ross O'Donovan.
Whoa, really? Dude, big bull energy. Get cucked, Ross. Holy fuck. Jared's over here making videos with him fucking his girl. God damn.
The collective. Big things were happening in Jared's personal life during this time too, as he got married to cosplayer and clothing designer Heidi O'Farrell in 2013. Being with her gave him the opportunity to do some modeling.
Oh my god, bro, this is him! Some modeling. Oh yeah, looking good, Jared.
The costumes designed by his wife. If Jared's former colleagues at Screw Attack are to be believed, he also had a bit of an ego. The gaming reviewer had always been very deliberate about the public image he wanted to craft. That of a cool, good-looking professional.
Good-looking professional? Come on, Jared. Everybody knows you're a fucking weirdo, bro.
And this was yet another outlet to send that vibe to his audience. One of the biggest slept-upon examples of how Jared wanted the public to view him came in 2016, with the release of the game Azagao Academy. An official dating simulator featuring all of the members of Normal Boots as high school students.
Off,
which
dude.
I might say in hindsight is a
oh man, that's awful.
bit of an odd project.
That's awful. Oh, I see PBG, I see... Wait, okay, so that's Jared. That's JonTron. That's Peanut Butter Gamer. Who's this? Is this supposed to be Gerard? Holy fuck, this aged badly. Oh my god.
While most of the other YouTubers' descriptions for the game are just about them being nerdy and liking video games, ProJared's is strangely taken more seriously. Let me show you what I mean. John is one of the founding members of the Normal Boots Club and the head of the Drama Club. He adores bizarre retro games and loves his pet bird Jacques more than life itself.
Bro.
PBG, one of the founding members of the Normal Boots Club, is an easygoing, caring, and optimistic guy. He doesn't bother with school, instead focusing on important things like soccer and pinball. But then we get to the next one. Jared is a part-time model. Attractive person in school.
Let's go.
Often coming off as vain, fickle, and shallow. Despite this, Jared truly cares for his friends, and the confidence he projects may not be as solid.
Oh no!
Jared was not involved with the development of this game. It needs to be considered that it was co-created by the wife of his friend, Peanut Butter Gamer. So it's safe to say that he had some input on how he was portrayed. By this point, ProJared
He told the wife that about himself? He was trying to fuck her too. He was like, naturally, I'm more handsome than your husband. You should want to be with me.
Cemented in the online game
Damn,
space.
Jared.
While he had gained over 1 million subscribers by 2018,
Oh my god, I just realized that I paused with this shit on my screen. Jesus fucking Christ.
he was also accumulating some amount of resentment from those who viewed him as overly smug and full of himself. And it was exactly that sort of public perception that would
Like
soon
he's
come
overly
back
hot
to
and
haunt him.
sexy.
The true downfall began early in May of 2019 when people noticed that all of the videos on the Game Grumps channel involving Jared had been quietly removed.
Deadass? No way! What, bro, if even Aaron Hansen is like, oh, this guy's kind of creepy, what the fuck?
A few days later on the 8th, the gamer posted on Twitter simply stating that he and his wife had filed for divorce
time.
and asked for privacy for both parties.
Privacy?
Well,
Nobody gave him any fucking privacy. That was not granted.
not much on its own. Less than 30 minutes later, Heidi posted a tweet of her own. I recently learned that my husband, ProJared, had been Brad behind my back for months. I have no idea what announcement he just made because he blocked me.
She's a liar, bruh. She's crazy.
She included a
She
screenshot
knew
showing
damn
that she
fucking
had
well.
indeed been blocked by her former husband, and went on to allege even further wrongdoing as her thread went on, claiming he had isolated her from their friend group and had
I've spent the last year in near isolation, ostracized from Jared's friend group at Normal Boots.
told her that he didn't even like the woman he was supposedly cheating on her with.
Wow, that's so fucked, dude. Anything was better than this bitch, I
Heidi
guess.
said she had images to back up her claims, but she did not share them. It's important to note here that Holly Conrad was the ex-wife of Ross O'Donovan from Game Grumps, as well as a YouTuber in her own right, being involved with the gaming collective. It was also unclear whether or not she was still married to him at the time of the affair.
No, Ross, no! And everybody in Game Grumps used to be like, oh, fucking Ross, I hate Ross. His life sucks, dude. His entire life, people have just been like, oh, I hate this guy. He's the worst. Fuck him. I don't want to be with him. Everybody hates him. Oh, I'm gonna fuck his wife. Fuck this guy. Like, holy shit. Like, everybody hates him. His wife's going. His friends hate him. He's in a YouTube video about all this shit, and his life is working with the Game Grumps. Like, honestly, Ross, I don't know what the fuck I would do if I were you, man. I think I would just be in hell every single day, man. That's probably how it feels to be him, dude.
Jared, get the fuck away from my wife. I'll kill you.
Regardless,
Whoa!
fell almost unanimously on the side of Heidi. The way Holly responded certainly didn't
Oh, damn. She's going for sure.
help her case either. She had replied sympathetically to Jared's initial divorce announcements, and following the growing response to Heidi's allegations, also released a vague statement that didn't elaborate much or provide any evidence in her own defense. I understand some shit is going down on the internet. If you want to believe a hyperbolic statement from someone you don't know on the internet with no previous background information and use it to demonize strangers, so be it. This is anyone's business but theirs.
Okay, my take is that this is like an everybody sucks here type interaction, and I just want to see them all eat each other alive.
If it's worth anything, you all know me. I never hurt anyone, and I only
I've never hurt anyone,
for those around
and I only
me.
want the best and happiness for those around me. Wow, she's so kind.
Followed me for a long time.
You know that.
It goes without saying
Gonna
that
get
this
off
did
Twitter.
nothing to stop the hate that was coming Holly's way. In fairness to her detractors, it's a little nonsensical for her to dismiss Heidi's claims by calling her someone you don't know on the internet, and then immediately try to defend herself by telling her fans that they know her. For his part, Ross stayed out of the drama almost entirely.
Okay, what did he say? What did he say?
Speaking up.
Thanks for the kind words. Please understand I'd rather not get involved. I've long since moved on, have a new life. This point has nothing to do with me. I'd rather not deal with this. Thanks for understanding. Just want to continue making art and help others do the same. It seems like deep like denial of what's going on around him. He doesn't even want to think about it at all. Like, oh man, this is a level of despair I don't want to reach ever, bro. Holy shit. Oh my god, Ross,
thank
it's
fans
over.
for worrying about him while also distancing himself from the whole ordeal. Not everyone was on Heidi's side though. Peanut Butter Gamer replied to
Based Peanut Butter Gamer, just straight up like defending King Jared.
post by simply saying, "This ain't it, Chief." This received an immense amount of backlash from people accusing him of making light of a serious situation. PBG quickly issued an apology the next morning.
Oh, he kind of got bitched into making an apology here. He should have stood by it. If he had waited until the tides turned, just never said anything about it, he would have been like, guys, that was kind of right.
Admitting that he had jumped the gun in order to defend his friend. Realizing that public perception was overwhelmingly in her favor, O'Farrell continued to badmouth her ex-husband, Jared, over the following days. As if the accusations of cheating weren't bad enough, her next claim was far more severe. It's also true that he has been soliciting nudes from his fans for years. I was there. In the beginning, it was a joke on Tumblr. Then it was its own Tumblr account just for nudes. It was ostensibly a body-positive space for consenting adults, and I approved.
This shit is so weird. This shit is so fucking weird, dude. Maybe it's because I'm in a loving relationship where I love my partner, but like, who the fuck would want to do this? This is weird. Especially with an audience. Like, I have a microscopic amount of people following me than Pro Jared does, but just being like wanting to fuck any random person viewing your content is so weird. Like, there should just be like a level of like through the screen, like not. That's like not on the table, right? Like, that's just weird. Like, what the fuck? It's the same thing with Leafy being like, who wants to get dicked? Like, that's just crazy.
On that basis, it
so
kept
creepy.
Escalating secretly. He started a Snapchat for getting
He
news
started
from
a
fans
Snapchat at like 30. That only like perverts and fucking weirdos are gonna do that.
without telling me. I found out via a fan comment. I felt pressure to allow it even though I was uncomfortable. Anytime I gave him an inch, he took a mile. If the cheating allegations made people turn against Jared, this made him into a complete laughingstock. You must understand that at this point, because 100% of the public narrative was being controlled by Heidi, there was pretty much nobody speaking up on behalf of her former spouse. Anyone who did was quickly shouted down by the mob, and then of course the memes began to roll in. Yeah, I'm a gamer. Cheat on my wife. Even though O'Farrell herself did not provide evidence of her former spouse's activities with fans, those who had been a part of the Tumblr and Snapchat accounts decided to start sharing screenshots of texts and photos they had received from the gaming creator. This is when things got really out of control. Naked pictures of the JRPG fan flooded social media, becoming one of the biggest trends of that year. They basically acted as the
really gross. I kind of just like blinked by this, but honestly, it made me dissociate. This is really gross and weird.
Out of control. Naked pictures of the JRPG fan flooded social media, becoming one of the biggest trends of that year. They basically acted as the next evolution of shock images, as it became a meme for people to trick their friends into looking at ProJared's genitals. There was also an unrelated photo that the video game reviewer...
Is he trying to say it's like gore? Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
had posted on Instagram back in 2017
I'm glad I never saw
of himself
that shit,
posing seductively while dressed as a Sailor Moon character that was being lumped in with the rest of the lewd images and used as further fuel to belittle him. If you weren't around during this time, it's almost unthinkable to imagine just how widespread and accepted this was by the public at large. There was practically nobody asking if things were going too far.
I mean, okay. He's a creepy looking gamer guy. He's getting exposed for the Tumblr, which is objectively creepy. And at the same time, this whole like cheating on his wife scandal, like this whole Game Grumps cheating scandal is thrown into it. Like, I can't blame anyone that instantly just believed Heidi, because I did too. I just don't I don't understand how you couldn't see everything and not just be like, oh, but this is also totally on board. But it's just, I don't know. People are kind of weird about the Tumblr thing, or think it's like fine. I don't think that's fine. I think that's fucking creepy, but whatever. People are gonna feel how they feel. ProJared's a fucking creep. I don't think anybody should feel bad for flaming this guy. Like, come on. He's fucking ProJared.
As it was still revenge porn regardless of context. The universally agreed upon opinion was that ProJared was a bad person and deserved all the humiliation he was receiving. This can be attributed to a couple factors. For one, while Jared's public statement had been vague and brief, Heidi had come in hot with specific allegations of wrongdoing. Even though she hadn't personally provided evidence, other people had been able to back up some of her claims. The second reason the story took off the way it did is because of Jared's previously established public perception of someone who was overly full of himself. The fact that he seemed to give off the same attitude as his public modeling photos and his lewd Snapchat messages only made them funnier to the haters, who were already looking for any excuse to make fun of him. It certainly didn't help.
This is a man who's seen it all, man. He's been to hell and back, and it's never been worse. This is like 5,000 yard stare of depression in those eyes. Look at that. That's a fucking dead stare right there. He hates his life. Oh, man, that's horrible.
Nice way to say this, but Jared has a unique physical appearance. Dozens of memes swirl around comparing him to a worm. There were a few voices at the time trying to call people out for bullying, but they were drowned out by the flood of internet users who just wanted an excuse to make fun of someone.
It's fine to fucking call him the inch. It's fine. I don't know what it was. I was gonna say inchworm, but I don't fucking know what that picture is or whatever. It does look a lot like Jared. That shit's fine. Posting his dick, probably. I don't know. Probably not fine to just spam pictures of his dick to people. Like, don't do that.
There were also clips from his old reviews making the rounds on the internet that looked very unfortunate out of context.
Oh?
Yes, I cheated, and I'm okay.
Allegations from other people trickled in shortly afterward. One tweet from former Playboy model Pamela Horton claimed that Jared had met her at a gaming convention several years prior, and had immediately scoured the internet for naked images of her upon learning what she did.
Ew!
He then reportedly showed these photos to other men while saying lewd comments that made everyone uncomfortable. Even though she had not personally witnessed this happening, Horton claimed that Jared was rude and cold to her for the rest of the event. Yet somehow it was going to escalate even further from here. You see, the crowd who just wanted to make fun of the Normal Boots members started to take the situation more seriously a couple of days later, when two Twitter users named Chai and Charlie posted statements, claiming that they had exchanged nudes with Jared when they were underage. A fact which they stated he had been fully aware of. According to them, they had been in regular communication with Jared for several months in 2016, sending and receiving messages and photos. And this fully tipped the situation over the edge. In the eyes of the public,
Now he's,
Jared
like,
had
getting
already
accused
been a
of being a
cheater, a
fucking
liar,
pedophile.
a manipulator, and a pervert. But now he was something much, much worse. In just a single day, his YouTube channel lost over 100,000 subscribers, and that number doubled in a very short amount of time. That meant 20% of people who had ever followed him in the past decade went out of their way to actively go to his channel to unsubscribe. An insane metric that has never been matched.
I'm actually really curious now. I've been holding off taking this bong rip for a while. This isn't my like lifelong YouTube account, but it's pretty long. Let's see. And not subscribe. I'll drop a sub. I'll drop a sub for you, bro. You know I got your back, King Jared. I'll drop a sub.
Before or since. Normal Boots also released a statement saying that they had received a private email containing these allegations back in April, and had made the mutual decision to part ways with their
Jock Khalil? Normal Boots manager Jock Khalil? Is that related to Gerard? How deep does the whole like charity scandal go? Does it tie into Normal Boots?
Disgraced member.
How deep does
yes,
it go?
It's not an exaggeration to say that ProJared had suffered one of the most devastating downfalls any creator had ever faced. This was a mid-sized influencer in the retro gaming niche, yet his name was being spread like these allegations were made against someone the size of Mr. Beast. You may have noticed that in this sea of tweets and accusations,
Fuck
the
you mean
only
he's not
person
Mr.
that
Beast
didn't
size?
respond was Jared himself. Aside from his original divorce announcement that started this entire ordeal, he had remained completely silent as his career and reputation crumbled into pieces. Then on May 17th, and nearly a week after the firestorm of allegations involving minors had begun, he finally returned to Twitter with a new statement. A few years ago, Heidi asked me if we could be in an open polyamorous marriage. I recognize now that this request and my willingness to go along with it was an unhealthy attempt to solve the issues that had developed within our marriage.
You can't fix her, bro.
Taken several casual partners, and has been in a more serious relationship with another partner since 2017. Heidi encouraged me to tell Holly that I was developing feelings for her. But when I did, things changed with Heidi. She became angry and vindictive, and did not want to see or speak with Holly anymore.
Shit.
She called me a cheater and claimed that I was destroying our marriage because of my affair, even though she continued to have other relationships with other partners. Even though I have been tempted to put information out online that shows my side of the story, I don't want to further stoke the fires of what should be a private matter between us. Unfortunately for Jared, this rang hollow for a number of reasons. While he did manage to somewhat refute Heidi's claim that he had cheated on her, at this point, people barely cared about that, as the much more damning allegations of sexting minors went entirely unaddressed. His claim that he had evidence that proved his innocence but was choosing to withhold it so as to not stoke the fires only served to further baffle onlookers.
Yeah, that didn't...
He basically said,
That wasn't a
I
good look.
have proof I'm not a pedo, but I'm not going to share it. The fires were already raging out of control, so people wondered what he had to lose by offering proof of his innocence. Heidi posted a new thread in response later that same day, stating that she had never been comfortable with Jared and Holly's relationship, and it was the entire reason their open marriage didn't work. Well, in hindsight, at this point you can tell something...
Well, I mean, her whole life is kind of like indebted to this guy. I mean, not like her whole life, obviously. A marriage isn't like that. That's kind of a bad quote. I just mean that, like, look, she's like cosplay famous now, and she's glommed on to fucking Jared. Let me pull it back. She got like, she's getting thousands of likes on these tweets about this situation. Like, if she wasn't dating ProJared, like, nobody would give a fuck about her. And that's just the truth. Like, I feel like she knows that deep down, and that's why she's like instantly responding like, no, stop gaslighting me.
Open marriage didn't work. Well, in hindsight, at this point you can tell something was fishy with her stories, since she had pretty much pulled a lie by omission by not sharing the open relationship aspect of the story from the get-go. At that moment, people had such a pro-Jared hate boner, pun intended, that they would look past these discrepancies. Even after Jared's response, the internet at large fell pretty much unanimously on her side. And the disgraced YouTuber once again fell into silence, with nobody speaking up in his favor. And for a while, it looked like that's how things would remain. ProJared had been exposed as a bad person, and his punishment was the destruction of his career and complete disappearance, forever to remain a punchline to the world. But things began to change on May 20th, 2019, when Holly Conrad returned to Twitter after a brief stay in a mental hospital.
Uh-oh, things didn't really turn out too good for her.
Detailing her side of events. Well, she started by reiterating Jared's claim that Heidi had approved of their relationship. She was actually able to provide text screenshots to back it up. It was only when the two of them had expressed their feeling for one another that Heidi's opinion took a complete 180, as she became angry and vindictive, wanting her partner to never speak to Holly again.
Both Jared and I were scared of her.
But by that point, it was clear the marriage was over, and Jared decided to separate rather than break things off with his new lover. Conrad described Heidi's behavior toward Jared as abusive, providing more
I'm going crazy, Jared!
ex-lover threatening him over text. In addition, she posted a screenshot from Heidi's Facebook page from the day before Jared's first tweet in which she announced the divorce, conflicting with the pre-existing narrative that Jared had been the one to make the matter public. There were also additional screenshots showing Heidi gloating about how much attention the story was receiving. While Holly's thread did not single-handedly change the narrative around this situation, it certainly got people thinking about it in a new light. At the very least, it was clear that the community may have been hasty to believe Heidi's story at face value, even when she provided no evidence of her own. Even still, Jared's continued silence on the matter meant that it was up for other people to craft the narrative for him. So he was doing himself no favors. Holly was also not exactly seen as a reliable source by the people who were already predisposed to hating her, a fact that was made even worse a month later when the beloved streamer Etika took his own life, and she decided to make a post comparing his plight to her own.
Are you serious? Bitch, fuck you. Are you serious, bitch? Go fuck yourself.
Some people took it upon themselves to conduct their own independent investigations in order to see what they could dig up. One of the most popular was a video made by the YouTuber Bernie Vids, and narrated by a teenage turkey Tom, which broke down all the pre-existing evidence surrounding Jared's supposed infidelity. Most of it was information Holly had included in her thread, but they were also able to track down legal filings from the divorce that verified Jared's telling of events. Other online sleuths looking into the situation discovered tweets made by Holly in 2018, where she talked vaguely—
How do you help a friend in an abusive relationship? How do you not go insane watching it?
about wanting to help a friend get out of an abusive relationship.
Oh my god.
But as I've stated before, at this point, most were happy to move on and forever remember ProJared as a man who was justifiably run out of the public eye. The fact that nobody had been able to adequately dispute the allegations of grooming minors certainly didn't help anything. This was the status quo for months as his YouTube channel remained a ghost town and his subscriber count continued to fall. But things took a radical shift on August 27th when Jared returned to the internet with a video titled, "You've Been Lied To."
He's not even subbed to the big Jared? Come on, bro.
For those of you who are unaware, a few months ago, some individuals circulated serious accusations against me. And I want to make it perfectly clear right now, they are false.
He began by explaining the reason he had spoken up earlier was twofold.
The Chad King Jared.
He had been consulting with lawyers in order to make sure he would be protected legally. And two, after witnessing how his friends had been shouted down by the mob for speaking up in his defense, he thought it would be best to wait until things had cooled down before saying his piece. Jumping in to give my own opinion here, I'll just flat out say that when you've been accused of cheating on your wife and messaging minors as a YouTuber, this is a terrible strategy. Especially in Jared's case, considering he said earlier that he had evidence that proved his innocence the entire time and he chose not to share it. Moving forward, Jared continues this video by admitting to exchanging nudes with fans on Tumblr, but that he had always made it clear that it was a space for consenting adults, and that he had never pressured anyone to do anything that they weren't comfortable with. And that included his wife Heidi. Even so, he was able to acknowledge that there was an inappropriate power imbalance considering that the people he exchanged images with looked up to him, and he apologized on those grounds. The bulk of the rest of Jared's video was devoted to finally breaking down the allegations that the majority of people were most concerned about, that being his grooming of those underage. He began by pointing out that both Chai and Charlie had deleted their call-out tweets, and that Chai, who is a trans man, specifically had provided no evidence of their alleged interactions.
I don't like how he said that about trans men. Shout out my trans brothers.
Jared stated he had no memory of ever speaking with Chai and could not find any chat logs between them, making him doubtful that any part of the story was true considering the burden of proof lies with the accuser. Jared also dug up a blog post written by Chai about a period in which he had experienced a traumatic brain injury, which caused him to suffer from memory loss and psychosis for 2 years. The cancelled YouTuber pointed out that the time frame mentioned in this article matched up perfectly with the dates Chai had claimed to have been groomed, throwing this recollection of events into question.
There is a possibility to consider that the hospital stay and the memory loss isn't true, that it was made up to garner sympathy. And if that's the case, how can we trust Chai's story about me? And if the hospital stay and memory loss story is true, how can we trust Chai's story about me?
He next moved on to Charlie, the non-binary person who actually had been able to provide some evidence of being in contact with Jared. One of these text screenshots showed Charlie referring to themselves as a baby, which they cited as proof that Jared knew they were underage. The video game reviewer, however, fired back.
And I did ask their age, and they lied. They also clearly knew then that they were doing something they know they shouldn't, and is doing something they know I'm not okay with. They had full access to the entire conversation and omitted to all of you that they lied to me, deceiving all of you.
On top of that, Jared also pointed out that nowhere in the screenshots provided by Charlie was there ever any evidence of him sending an NSFW image, which he argued made the claims that he had sent nudes to minors completely false. To be fair though, Charlie's screenshots did show messages that implied Jared had received nudes from them. Even if the YouTuber did believe that the person he was talking to was a legal adult, at the very least this is evidence of some extreme negligence on his part. I personally wouldn't send a picture of my wiener to someone unless I was 100% certain they were an adult. Jared continued poking holes in his accuser's stories.
I'm really glad to know, gamer from Mars. I think we all feel that way.
The first people Chai had reached out to with the allegations were the Game Grumps. This led them to believe that their primary concern had been destroying Jared's professional reputation while simultaneously getting an opportunity to talk with other YouTubers that they were fans of. He also pointed out that both Chai and Charlie appeared to be trying to capitalize the situation, as they to their Ko-Fi and PayPal accounts as things were heating up. Jared next moved on to the allegations made by Pamela Horton that he had shared naked modeling photos of her with other men at a gaming convention. According to him, what had actually happened was that he was looking up some of her cosplay photos due to an interest in the art form, and that this whole story had been misinterpreted by her after.
He's kind of such a nerd that, like, low-key, I kind of believe that. He's like, no, I was just looking up your cosplay. I love the outfits.
Fact. Jared ended his video by shaming those who jumped on the story without reaching out to him for comments. And one of the people he singles out may look familiar to you.
What was amazing was seeing the sheer amount of coverage on drama YouTube channels. Dozens of them, all weighing in from a supposed neutral stance. Not one of them tried to reach out to me. Not one of them tried to ask me, hey, is any of this true? What's your side of the story?
While I can sympathize with Jared's feeling that the coverage of him was unfair, I can't deny I'm a bit miffed by his comments here. He had ample opportunity out in his own defense at any time, but his one public statement prior to making this video was about how he didn't want to share evidence, so as to not perpetuate the drama. Forgive me for assuming he wouldn't have been interested in talking to me about it. After this video went live, I reached out to him to ask if he wanted to do an interview on my channel to clear his name, and he didn't respond, emboldening my view that he never wanted to talk with anyone and just saw this as an easy way to frame himself a victim of the commentary community, even though we were just going off of what the public statements were. Anyway, after his upload went live, the responses came in fast from people who now fully believed Jared's side of the story. While there were still a lot of people who had long since moved on from this drama, those who stuck around and listened to
I'll never move on. I can never move on from this drama, personally. ProJared, you're my life force, bro.
He had to say largely seemed to respond positively. Even Pamela Horton spoke up that she had talked to Jared and cleared the air about what had happened.
You lying fuck. Come on! Everybody hated him. You're like, you creep. I hate you, Jared.
Not everyone was quite so pleased with the response.
Oh! You said I never tried to reach out to you, ProJared. False! You had me blocked. So we tried to reach out to Holly Conrad, and by the time she responded, she was unable to do an interview. But make no mistake, we were the first to realize your ex-life was a lying whore. And Jared's not even gonna, like, trip on the whore statement. I mean, sure, but, like, he's just gonna be like, apologies for that. Apologies. That's so good, dude.
When Keemstar tweeted at Jared saying that he had actually reached out to him for comment but never received a response. Soon after, Heidi returned to Twitter and once again accused Jared of lying about the nature of their relationship. She also speculated that he had started the upload to release.
Today is the worst harassment I've received yet. Because you lied about everything. It's not enough to get away from my abusers. He can't rebuild his reputation unless he convinces the world that I'm absolute scum. Wow.
During a time when he knew she would be at a convention and thus wouldn't have the resources to respond right away.
Wait, Jared is fully aware of what Dragon Con means to me and my typical travel schedule. So she's mad that he did this because it fucks up her day at Dragon Con. Dude, the levels of fucking insanity to this woman, this is unprecedented.
Charlie also posted a tweet claiming that Jared had threatened them legally, but
no
lawyer wanted to take his case because it was too laughable. It's unclear when Charlie got that information, and it remains unsubstantiated. Yes, even though his name was still heavily tainted by everything that had happened, public perception of ProJared was slowly but steadily beginning to improve. By September, Holly's online clothing brand had started selling t-shirts reading "Cancelled," using Jared as the model, indicating their relationship survived the fallout. But Heidi was not finished just yet. On September 7th, she conducted a live stream on Twitch titled "Telling My Story," in order to once again reiterate her side of events. Unlike Jared, this wasn't to provide new evidence to prove what she was saying to be true. Rather, it was just an opportunity for her to once again reiterate her accusations. Nothing Heidi said here was anything new, but she did at least make sure to acknowledge that she did not think her ex-husband was attracted to minors. Amusingly, people who watched the stream while it was live noticed that Jared was hosting it on his own Twitch channel.
What a king. What a king. That's respectful.
It's unclear if this was done intentionally or if it was simply a default setting that he forgot to turn off. All this left one question though. Jared's reputation had managed to be somewhat rehabilitated, but what about his career? Well, on November 30th, 2019,
let's go!
Received its first new upload in months. With the
I was really waiting on that new ProJared review, bro. After all this shit, I really wanted to see
his review for Final Fantasy V. This upload currently sits at over 1 million views.
Big M.
And has an overwhelmingly positive comment section, proving that he still had a loyal audience.
Let's go!
To come back and give him a chance. In fact, following this, anytime he put out a full-quality pro-Jared review of an RPG, the views would skyrocket, meaning that the comeback video wasn't just bolstered by people who were morbidly curious. There's a popular narrative surrounding ProJared's story to this very day that Heidi's accusations permanently destroyed the channel, but if you look at the numbers from after his comeback, this doesn't seem to fully hold the case. The problem is he stopped uploading the kinds of videos his fans were interested in, choosing instead to mostly post unscripted content and live stream clips. In fact, he barely uploads to his YouTube channel at all these days. So with all of that out of the way, what happened to everyone who was caught up in this whirlwind? Well, Chai and Charlie have all but disappeared from the internet following Jared's expose. Heidi continues posting, but keeps a low profile, using social media to
unique small batch and handmade clothing for first girls. Mori K, vintage cottagecore and soft pasta. Oh my god, bitch! Like, you are not unique. Come on.
Show off the designs of her brand, First Girl Clothing. Holly also has a humbler web presence these days. Her YouTube channel, Owl Fashion, barely receives 1,000 views per video.
Get fucks!
And hasn't been updated
Commander Holly
in nearly a year. Her primary focus is her Etsy shop,
Oh my god, not the fucking Etsy shops.
Where she sells custom pins. She and Jared don't seem to be together anymore either. Holly's ex-husband Ross, on the other hand, has made it out the best of anyone involved in the drama by choosing to stay out of it.
Oh really?
He maintained his association with the Game Grumps and now has an animated show coming out with the highly successful Glitch Productions.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
And that brings us to Jared in the present day. For the most part, he's managed to stay out of any more controversy.
What is this? Oh wait, he's defending Gerard the completionist. That's really funny, actually. This is horseshit!
With the exception of when he hastily inserted himself into drama surrounding his friend the completionist, while clearly not knowing the full story. This gave people a reason to go after him yet again during the crash out of yet another Normal Boots alum. Maybe he could have taken a lesson from Peanut Butter Gamer.
Yeah, stay out
Otherwise,
of it, bro.
ProJared mostly can be found streaming on Twitch or posting on sites like Twitter and Blue Sky. However, the way he chooses to use social media nowadays has caused some people to raise their eyebrows, as he is still regularly talking publicly about his sexual urges with his followers. F it, it's Goonies. Tell her, show me about whatever is.
Ew, no, Jared, no! He didn't learn any fucking thing at all!
From the looks of it, it seems like he hadn't learned anything at all about the dangers of a public figure engaging in sexual conversations with their fans. As if that weren't odd enough, in October of 2020...
Fuck it, it's gooning hours!
The now 40-year-old Jared made his
He's
first
40!
Post on his OnlyFans account, where he charges $11.99 a month for lewd images.
Well, maybe that's what he should have been doing the whole time.
Didn't pay the fee, so I can't see what exactly he's sharing with his subscribers, but I can read you some of the captions that are publicly available. Are you snowed in and iced over? Would you Are you snowed in and iced over? Would some body heat help warm you up? I'm getting bored of work and really needing a distraction.
Oh my god.
Walk in and lock your eyes into mine.
Jared, no!
Which allows you to show you a distraction you so desperately crave.
Oh my god!
Have you been behaving yourself, or have you been very, very bad?
Jared!
How much would you pay to make me drop this towel?
Jared, no!
I often wonder if the houses across the street can see me through my bedroom window. But then I ask myself if I even care, and I should just let them see. Do you like seeing?
No! Jared, no!
OnlyFans has a much stricter barrier to entry than Snapchat or Tumblr, so the danger of accidentally interacting with minors is significantly lower. But it doesn't change the fact that Jared seems to have slipped back into the behavior that got him into trouble in the first place. Most recently making a public thirst post about how he wants to be penetrated by a male.
Whoa, Jared, that's a little suspect.
Video game character. Very cool. In conclusion, while looking back on the ProJared situation, I have mixed emotions. On one hand, his wife was not truthful about the circumstances of their divorce, which deserves scrutiny. While it was originally framed as a man leaving his wife in the dust for another married YouTuber, that just wasn't the case.
That just wasn't the case.
It appears the couple had a lot of problems, which led to them opening up their relationship as a destructive fix. While Heidi had access to
Jared.
sexual partners, Jared seemed to only be able to use his hall pass to goon with strangers on Tumblr. Then shortly after he was actually able to find an interested woman, his wife pulled out of the arrangement, and as a result, the doomed marriage was officially
that is kind of like how it went, but that's just like really like pathetic.
Over. On the other hand, there were things that ProJared was rightfully scrutinized over. He was sexting random people he didn't know online without properly verifying their age, which on its own is a recipe for disaster. Speaking from a legal standpoint, just because you don't know their age doesn't make sending explicit content to a minor legal. Jared even mentioned in his response video that he was not asking for IDs to prove how old people were before engaging
He just shouldn't have been doing that at all. It's creepy and disgusting.
In this lewd behavior. I'm not sure how well the defense that a mentally unwell teenager lied to me would hold up in court.
Yeah, facts.
And to anyone that's going to get mad at me for making this criticism, I will reiterate that I don't think he was intentionally reaching out to minors. Still, if he had not waited months to give his response video and kept on hustling out high-quality RPG reviews, I think he could have come out of the situation with little long-term impact to his...
What are these videos? They're all about Dungeon Master bullshit? This guy's a fucking loser. Oh my god, I would never watch this. Holy fuck.
Channel viewership. Instead, he gave up on making the content he became popular for, and spends his time now gooning on Blue Sky and running a niche OnlyFans. For a man entering middle age, it is an odd choice, but I guess he has the right to do it.
That's it? That's how we ended the video?